welcome to upgrade number 170. I'm Kate, and I'm here with my boss, Seymour. Hi, Seymour.
Hey, Kate.
Hi. Okay, so today we have a secret word coming up, which is 3 chances to win in our $1,000 draw. You get some electronics and some Magfast goodies. You will do that at magfast.com/fun. We'll go over that again later. And I have a new winner, April's winner, to announce at the end too, which is very exciting.
April's winner coming up in just a second. If you want to enter, magfast.com/fun. Also, please remember to subscribe and like. There's some buttons if you're watching it on our website right now underneath us. Like us on Facebook, sub us on Twitter, and energize with us on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes. Before we get started, Seymour, I wanted to ask you, I know we had some, I haven't seen it yet, but we had some new footage from the factory. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. The folks at the factory are very busy making the world's best chargers, and obviously we can't fly there ourselves yet. So please send some video. So you get like the video that they remember to take. And there's this piece just came in. If we can get it up on the screen. So this is quite a good example of something you wouldn't think of if you didn't know any better. So is this playing properly? It's looking kind of frozen on my screen at the moment. Let me just scrub this a little bit here.
It looks,
here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's playing now. So this is what's called materials testing. Okay, and you can see there's a Magfast Life down there that the worker is positioning. And what she's got here is basically like a kind of cotton bud with slightly abrasive stuff in it and fluid on it. And this machine is rubbing the surface as sort of hard and scratch resistant as it should be. So this is simulating, Kate. This is simulating 5 years of purse with your keys. Okay, that's what's going. That's what's going on. That's what's going. That's what's going on there. Yeah. So materials testing that is underway at this moment. The very first Magfast Extreme is actually in DHL. On its way here, and then there's another kind of couple of dozen following just shortly behind that. I'll just remind everybody, long last. I'll remind everybody of the process. The very first few dozen come in amongst the team. We're going to check them out. If that 1 or 2 very early customers have agreed to take these as sort of extra early samples to look at, I say samples, these are off the production line, but it's this very first. Right? Everyone thinks, well, you just turn the machines on and it runs. No, you begin with. You do a few dozen. How does it go? How can we make it more efficient? Is everything up to standard? Larger run, it'll be more like kind of a couple of hundred or something, and then it'll go up, and we'll start making them in the thousands. So it's what we've chosen to do a while back, knowing that not everybody's going to be like you and stick patiently with us. But we've always said it's more important to get it right than to get it fast. So we're gonna ramp up the production slowly and make sure that everything that we ship is fantastic. Good. So, Kate, you had suggested we talk a lot about the first 3 products over the last few weeks, that we should maybe talk about the next 3 products as well. Would that be useful to do this week?
We've had several people asking about those, and I listen, and so I suggested that we should talk about them because I think that's really important. Okay.
Well, Kate, maybe you can give me some being a good listener tips one of these days, Kate.
Okay. You listen.
Thank you. Quickly on the first 3, Magfast Extreme. Look at this. The boxes are just in. I don't know. Can you? I don't know how well they're showing up. But can you see are you seeing the reflection on there? Woohoo!
Yes, it's beautiful. Oh my God.
So they're absolutely gorgeous. They're just in. So Extreme, the first one is in DHL and it's way over here. You've seen where the packaging is there. Life also is in about the same place as Extreme. We were just running one of the Extremes over because I wanted to look at something on it. So Life and Extreme, I mentioned just now, the very first few dozen will be in a small matter of days. They haven't yet shipped out, but they'll be with us shortly. And as I said, we're getting into the hands of the first few dozen customers for sort of fallback before we roll it out. Beyond that, Air, we've described to you before. There was we described that we had paused the commencement of the tooling a while back. Do you remember? Because we needed to change that angle. Yeah. You remember that, Kate? We were showing it on screen a few weeks ago. Tooling is underway for that. We're well through that. I actually didn't, forgive me, I haven't checked the timetable before coming in, but we're kind of 2/3 of the way through the very slow tooling process. Anyone who's new to us, welcome. Check some of the recent versions of this show, the upgrade. You can actually see some of the tooling in process where this machine works away in this bath of, I always say olive oil, but it's in a special kind of kerosene. The kind of kerosene material, I think, isn't it? And underneath this kerosene, very slowly for 2 months, this machine lasers away at the surface of this very hard metal to make the tools, and it's kind of a fascinating process. All right, so that leaves us. We just mentioned Life and Extreme and Air, and so that leaves us with the other 3 products. Let's talk first of all about Magfast Wall, which I can see is showing very bright in these lights, isn't it? Can you even see it?
Oh,
I can just see it. On the camera, it's kind of blowing out, and I don't know where to put it so you can see it properly. Anyway, we'll put a picture of it up on the screen. So, but Magfast Wall is particularly important to all of this. All of the products work great by themselves, right? Best in class by themselves. But Magfast Wall is sort of can be used as the base station in the kitchen or the den. And I'm going to hold it even if it's bleaching out a little bit on the camera. Shows you how white it is, though. Hey, if it's bleaching out like this, beautiful and white.
Very beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, 2 Magfast outlets connections, one on the top, one on the bottom. All right, so we're going to be connecting our other Magfast stuff on the top and on the bottom like that. USB A and C, different 1 or 2 different models, but USB A and C available on the bottom. And we're working on this higher, but the reason it's taking a little longer than I'd hoped is that we're working on some advanced electronics that will give us particularly powerful USB-C. So for most people, you won't actually need a separate power brick. You'll just be able to plug your laptop. Just plug your laptop right into the bottom and just work all day long. I think we're going to get 65, 70 watts, something like that at the moment, which is enough to power a laptop under almost all circumstances. Some of the bigger laptops, like if you're mining for Bitcoin or rendering a 4K movie for Hollywood or something, it can use a little more power than that. But for most laptops, you'll be able to run flat out, and that'll be an available upgrade when it comes time to do your checkout. You make one choices, confirm your address, and you'll be able to do that upgrade if you'd like to at that time. So we're very, very excited about Wall. Those of you who've been with us for a while know that it is a cousin of our old product from back in the day. It's grown a little in thickness to allow us to do more ways of connecting, and also to fit more power inside. So we're excited about Wall. It's coming, and it felt a bit stalled earlier in the year, to be honest. We've engaged a new team of engineers. We've added, I should say, some extra intellectual capacity to the team, and it's going really well at the moment.
And with Wall, isn't there a lot of extra safety testing too, just because it connects to people's homes? So we want to make sure it's extra safe. Also. Yes,
no, that was good. Thank you for raising that. So so let's talk about safety testing for a while, because especially in the days of Amazon and other online places, safety in this stuff is a little bit the kind of the Wild West, and we think it's really important to be playing at the very top of the safety game. Whereas a lot of people are playing at the what can we get away with kind of end of the scale. So we're building everything to what you broadly call UL standards. Okay, UL it stands for Underwriters Laboratory, and it's the sort of gold standard in safety. So we're having Life and Extreme. Remember I said just now we're going to have a few dozen made in the first batch. We're going to get some of them and send some of them out to like a dozen or so early customers. But you're coordinating that, Kate, right? So you're talking to folks about that.
Yes. Yes.
But some of those other ones from that batch are the ones that actually go to it's like 5 or 6 different certifying bodies. Okay, they go for Qi wireless testing to make sure they meet all those requirements, and there's FCC testing, Federal Communications, to make sure that they're not sending out the wrong kind of radio waves, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. So those very first models will be the same ones that are being certified. But power banks have batteries in. You have to be super careful about those. But Magfast Wall, as you say, because it actually plugs into 110 volts, in your house, has to set to an even higher standard. So whilst we're making everything and testing everything to UL standards, we're actually going to get like the certificate as well for Wall, which takes extra time and costs. In some parts of the country, you can literally buy a rundown house for the amount that it costs to safety test the product. It's insane, tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, but what that means is that you get something that's incredibly safe. And I would just say, on the area of safety, when you're buying stuff online, if you're buying something to plug into your house, where you live, right, where you sleep, make sure you're buying stuff that is tested to UL standards. It means it'll usually have either the UL shield on or the ETL shield, which is an equivalent standard. It's named for this company, but ETL tests to the same standard. And actually, we use them because they're kind of a bit easier to work with. But the standard is the kind of global gold standard. Okay, so that was Wall. Let's talk about Road. Okay, this is an old Road model, so we'll get a nice picture of Road up on the screen. We have the flashlight in the tip, and a whole plethora of ways of getting power in and out. Road along its journey, along its road, has evolved a little bit. We were originally going to have some Qi in it back in the day when we first envisaged it 3 or 4 years ago. In practice, it's going to be plugged in your car the whole time, right? That's in practice. This is the way this thing's going to live, right, Kate? I mean, your car, you're just going to plug it in. It's going to be sitting in there, and so we thought we want to make it fantastic, plugged in your car, and keep the thing with as small a profile as possible. So what we've done is we've added lots of outlets to it. So you're actually going to be able to have a road trip for 6 people. 6 people simultaneously will be able to plug in. Well, the difference. Oh my gosh. How much more tanned I am on the back of my hand than the front. So you'll be able to have 6 plugged in simultaneously, 3 USB-As, 3 USB-Cs. In practice, it will be rare that 6 people need to plug in at once, and so most of the time you'll maybe plug into the end here, and then you'll keep the little flippy cable tucked in the top. And then we don't know of anyone else in the world who's doing the flashlight in the end, which is going to be just kind of super cool, super unusual, and super handy. Yeah, and super handy in an emergency. You can just grab it and go. And the latest word on Road is that the prototype is due shortly, but has bumped into the global chip shortage. Okay, so there's actually, they were just all ready to go. Then because the challenge, Kate, when they're doing the prototypes, is it's not just enough to get something that works, right? You're trying to get something that works, that is made out of components that can be reliably supplied into the future. All right, the whole manufacturing game. I mean, I think of myself as being, reasonably sort of smart and reasonably good at understanding, reasonably good at imagining what it's like to run a business that I'm not involved in. Manufacturing is, I would say, at least 100 times more complicated than I had ever imagined when I first got involved in this kind of 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, it's astonishing. So they're working to crack that, to find a chip that does everything we need. Remember, LED-licious, managing more power outlets than anybody else. We don't know of anyone else who's offering so many different USB outlets for a car enclosure. The magnets and stuff is now easy. That's all figured out. But finding a chip that is up to that standard and has reliable supply is the challenge there.
And I just want to remind everyone before we move on that we did do an upgrade on the global supply shortage. It was a couple weeks ago, so go check that out if you're interested.
Yeah, we did, and just keep an eye if you see, because it's more and more we're starting to see headlines about this in the just online, in the papers. But when you're reading your favorite news brand online, on TV. What did I just read the other day? That I think we mentioned in the show a few weeks ago that Ford were making lots of trucks and just putting them out in the parking lot because they couldn't put the final chip in. Tesla, I read the other day, are only just starting to make their top two models. What are they called? The S and the X, I think. I don't know. Because they have four models now. There's the two more, more everyday. I mean, they're still kind of $45,000 cars, but they have the two more expensive kind of premium models. They haven't made any of them this year. They're just starting to make them again because of the chip shortage. So this is, and this is an enormous company with unlimited resources to solve the problem. So it's a very, very real problem. And in particular, COVID is still not under control in Taiwan, which is where a lot of these, a lot of the chip foundries are. And just quickly and finally,
Time.
Our baby we don't talk about very often is Magfast Time. Magfast Time, the best way to charge the world's favorite watch, the Apple Watch. And Magfast Time we've been prioritizing the other items over it at the moment because, and we love our Time customers, first amongst equals, guys. But because not everybody has an Apple Watch, but everybody needs the USB power. In terms of marshalling our resources, we've been leaning into the others first. But Magfast Time will be going into a prototype as soon as we think that the other guys, the others, are settled in. This is just the project. And again, if you've been with us for a while, you've heard me say this. But the project. Everybody thought it was this big. It turns out it was this big, and so marshalling our resources and still making sure that we hit our marks, which is to deliver something spectacular, has been the order of the day. All right. Does that give you? I mean, Kate, you're following along obviously much more closely than most people. Does that give a reasonable picture of where we are? Any questions come to mind? Any thoughts?
I don't think so. I'm just glad because people were asking about it, but also I was interested too where we were. So I appreciated that. I think that was a great explanation. So thank you.
Super. Next week, by the way, how can I explain this to people? 5 or 6 years ago, I met an amazing entrepreneur from Texas who does. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before. He has this business which is securing airports. Okay, because when you go to the airport, okay, yeah, exactly. When you go to the airport, you arrive there and you go through the security, right? You take off your shoes and you put your bag through, and there's all this stuff about you. When you get to the other side, you think, I feel like having a Starbucks and a meal. Well, the Starbucks and the meal had to go through security too. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about that? Can you imagine that when you go through airport security, everything on the other side has to be secure, right? There's basically a kind of perimeter around the airport. There's a security perimeter around, and it's not just the people. Everything has to be secure. People can't be putting, guns inside chocolate bars and stuff like this. So the whole thing. So there's a huge business that you'd never have thought of, which is securing airports. And this gentleman has his company has the contracts for about 20, 25, something like that, major airports that you've heard of. And he actually once took me around the back of Heathrow Airport. I happened to be in England. I happened to be flying through, and he was there, and he took me. It's the most amazing thing that you've ever seen. Cool. Anyway, Ben, his name is Ben. Ben has a gathering where he invites friends and entrepreneurs to his place in Texas every year for a couple of days. People meet, and we have nice meals, and it's a little bit of fun. Just want to apologize to anyone who thinks I shouldn't have fun until we ship anything. I do enjoy myself when I go there, all right? But it's like I didn't go last year because of COVID. Barely left the house in 2 years, so I'm going to go there next weekend. But that means Kate that I'm going to be in the same neck of the woods as you for a change. Yeah.
Yay.
And I think we've secured an invitation for you to join the gathering as well. Is that right? So
Yes,
why don't we
it'll
do
be my first year.
be your first year. So we will break away from the intense hard work and strategy sessions. And we will do a little video from Texas together next week. So just when you see it, this is Kate and me attending, all right, a gathering of entrepreneurs and so on, and brainstorming business and this, that, and the other. And yes, having probably a beverage and something nice to eat at the same time. But we are working, and we will continue to work and make a video for you. It's not that we're skipping off on vacation. All right, but I tell you what, if you're like one of the mean tweet people who has to say something, then you can send your complaints into Kate right now that we shouldn't be doing this. You can send them in advance. You don't have to wait until we attend this thing. You can send them in right now in advance. Okay, is that fair?
Oh gosh, please don't. I might be snarky back.
Get a head start. Get ahead. Yeah. You can write in preemptively and get preemptive snark back from Kate.
Oh goodness.
All right.
Okay, let's do our secret word. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, so our secret word this week is one word. It's not two words like last time. Sorry about that. So our secret word is one word, and it's delightful. That's what our products are. Yes.
Delightful. Right. Yes. Look at the right of your screen rather than left of your screen. Delightful. Okay. So one word, you go to magfast.com/fun, magfast.com/fun, put it in 3 extra chances to win in this month's draw. The draws are real. And you finally track down, because sometimes, by the way, if you enter it, make sure you reply when Kate emails you when you're the winner, because we finally got hold of April's winner, who is?
Well, I'm announcing it, so she doesn't know yet. But I'll contact her after this. Yes, okay. Her name is Rhonda Croft from Washington.
Rhonda, well done, Rhonda. Okay.
Yay.
So stand by your email, Rhonda. We got $1,000 worth of goodies for you. You can pick from the Magfast stuff. If I were you, I'd go for a Life and an Extreme, because they're going to be shipping very shortly. But we can also pick you up some other electronics and stuff to go with, and you and Kate will put together a prize package a delightful prize package for you, Rhonda. A delightful prize package. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anything else on the competition? Was that it?
No, I actually March's winner just reached back out to me a couple days ago, so I get to talk to him and figure out his package. Yeah. So I'm excited to do that, and I got in touch with all of the Extreme winners from last week, the Jumpstart winners too. So
all right,
I get
fantastic.
to talk to a lot of fun people.
Indeed. Okay, well, congratulations to all of you. Remember, you can always email us, hello@magfast.com, hello@magfast.com. Tweet us at GetMagfast, facebook.com/Magfast, youtube.com/Magfast. And remember, we're always charging for good on your desktop, your tablet, your smartphone, and more
at Magfast.com.